This story isn't about ghosts or monsters. It's about something far more real. Something that could happen to anyone. Something that has happened to me. It was a few years ago. I was in my early 20s, living in a small town. I was working late one night, finishing up a project at the office. It was around 2 a.m. when I finally headed home. It was a quiet night. The streets were deserted. I was driving down a residential street, passing rows of identical houses with their lights off. It was the kind of peaceful, ordinary scene you wouldn't think twice about. I pulled into my driveway, got out of the car, and started walking towards my front door. That's when I saw him. There was a man standing across the street, under the streetlight. He was just standing there watching me. I couldn't make out his features, but I could see he was wearing a suit. It was kind of strange, but I didn't think much of it at first. I continued walking towards my door, but I kept glancing back at him, and each time I looked, he was closer. That's when I saw his face. He was smiling, a really, really wide smile. It wasn't a friendly smile, it was unsettling. I felt a chill run down my spine. Something about that smile, it was just wrong. It felt predatory, like he was enjoying my fear. I fumbled with my keys trying to get the door open. My hands were shaking. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. The man was walking towards me now, his smile getting wider with every step. I finally got the door open and slammed it shut behind me. I leaned against the door trying to catch my breath. I could hear him outside, his footsteps slow and deliberate. He was still there. I looked through the peephole. He was standing on my porch, staring at the door. That smile, it was still there. It felt like he was burning a hole through the door with his eyes. I locked all the doors and windows, double-checking everything. I grabbed a baseball bat from the closet and started checking the house, room by room. I turned on all the lights, trying to dispel the darkness. I sat on the couch, clutching the bat, my heart still racing. I couldn't shake the feeling that he was still out there, waiting. I kept staring at the front door, expecting it to burst open at any moment. And then, I heard it. The doorknob started to turn. I jumped up, adrenaline surging through me. I gripped the bat tighter and rushed towards the door. I was going to confront him. I was going to make him leave. I threw open the door, ready to swing, but there was no one there. The porch was empty. I stepped out onto the porch, looking up and down the street. It was deserted. There was no sign of him anywhere. I never saw him again, but I never forgot that night. That smile, that feeling of being hunted, it stayed with me. I started having nightmares. I couldn't sleep. I went to therapy. I talked to friends and family, but nothing seemed to help. I felt like I was going crazy. I started seeing him everywhere, in crowds, on the street, even in my own reflection. I was constantly looking over my shoulder, always on edge. It took me a long time to realize what had happened. I wasn't just dealing with a random creep. I was dealing with something far more sinister. I started researching stalkers, psychological manipulation, the dark side of human nature. And the more I learned, the more I realized that the smiling man wasn't just trying to scare me. He was trying to break me. He wanted to make me doubt my own sanity, to make me question my perception of reality. And for a while he succeeded. But I fought back. I learned self-defense. I installed security cameras. I talked to the police. I took back control. I learned that fear is a powerful weapon, but it can be overcome. By understanding the psychology of fear, by taking precautions, and by refusing to be a victim, we can reclaim our sense of safety and security. The smiling man may still be out there, but he doesn't control me anymore. I won't let him. This experience taught me that terror can lurk in the most ordinary places, and that the most terrifying monsters are often human. But it also taught me the importance of resilience, the power of community, and the strength we can find within ourselves to overcome even the darkest fears. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it serves as a reminder to be vigilant, to trust your instincts, and to never let fear control your life.